am Leo C. Brown Jr., the founder and ambassador of Progress House Association.
The reason why I chose to go to Progress House was because I knew that it was supposed to be the next step towards my reintroduction to society.
We are here to make a difference for those who are ready to make a difference for themselves.
So in Washington State in the 1970s, correctional thought was evolving, and the concept that they decided to move forward with was work release. What happened was that the state entered into a state and so a public-private partnership with the Progress House Association at that point.
I started with having church services that was going on at McNeil Island. But at that time, the climate over there was very hard.
And one of the men there asked me, why are you doing all that? Why don't you about starting a halfway house? The government would help you. You would be able to help more of us, if I was really that concerned. And the Lord blessed me, and I went back and talked to my pastor at the time about our church parsonage that was vacant, about renting the parsonage. And I rented the parsonage, got my family together, and started Progress House.
The Progress House Association exists to serve those with criminal histories and mental disadvantages to go on and obtain a change in life.
I have had the pleasure of knowing Reverend Brown, or Bishop Brown, and I used to call him Reverend Brown, but Bishop Brown for a very long time. I got to go to school with both David Brown and Michael Ross. So we grew up together, and I've known him and since that time, and I know a lot about, I've heard a lot about Progress House over the years, have had an opportunity when I worked at Pierce County Council with Harold Moss to help advocate for federal funding to make sure that Progress House stayed alive and well in Tacoma. And now here I sit as mayor of the city.
Our first location was 1119 South G Street. Our first contract there, it housed 23 people. We were also having services at Purdy Treatment Center. And they afterwards asked, will you start another facility for women? And that's when my second facility started. It was called Dorcas House.
When we were down at Dorcas House, that's where the women's facility was at. And then the men's house was down in the same location. So what we did was we kept them separated. However, Reverend Brown was still trying to find a building, a place where we could do a co-ed facility.
Really, every place we would look for, the newspaper would be there right after I talked to the owner.
Mayor Mark Parker was the mayor at that time, and Reverend Brown and him became good friends, and he had told Reverend Brown that there was a building, the old Raymond Hall building, that had been mothballed.
When the newspapers hit the street, so did the people. The people hit the street saying, we don't want them in our neighborhood.
They had built a new facility next door, and the facility had been vacant for quite some time. And that's what gave him the idea of trying to go to the city and get the old Raymond Hall building.
But God worked a miracle for me. God put the newspaper on a strike. And during that period that the newspaper was on a strike, we were able to get old Raymond Hall.
Finally, he got it. And he gathered up all 14 children, and we came to this facility. We mopped, we painted, we cleaned up the bathrooms, we buffed the floors, we waxed the floors to get this building up and running for the new 55-bed state contract that we acquired from the Department of Corrections. Now it's the mid-'80s. Everything is running smooth and everything. We got 2 locations. We have the Portland location, it's a federal contract, and we had our 55-bed state facility up here. All of a sudden, we're kicked out of the budget.
I got a phone call from Olympia about 3 days before they were supposed to fund us that they were sorry, but the money wasn't there. And I didn't know what we were going to do.
At that time, Reverend Brown had to feed several families. We had several employees because don't forget, this facility runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
We had a lot of lean days where we didn't know where the money was coming from. And somebody would call from the community and help us. We were blessed with an anonymous donor, and he would help with different things, $7.50 a month to help us with our rent, with food, and that type of thing. And those things just took us over.
He made sure that we had money until he was placed back into the budget.
Everything we went through, it was learning opportunity, and every step. We did like our name. We progressed.
In the 90s, that was good for us because we got a lot of training when it came to accreditations and compliances and making sure that our staff was trained professionally and got to know what corrections really was about. Around 2015, I asked my dad, where do you want to go with this? And basically he told me that really whatever we wanted to do for his legacy, we could do. So I said, hey, we got a chance at getting out here and getting a couple of more work releases.
And so we decided to write. 2 contracts came open and we decided, well, we're gonna just try for this, not knowing if we would get them, and we got them.
I'm Anthony Brown. I'm the operational manager here at Peninsula Work Training Release.
My name is Nikki Miller, and I'm the operations manager here at Helen B. Ratcliffe.
Progress House acquired this facility July 1st, 2017.
This is an all-women's facility. We have 49 beds here, and we have currently 43 women here at the facility.
My role at Progress House is to engage the community with the building and to get community and volunteers to come in and develop programming here in all 3 facilities.
It's been refreshing to see the ideas that Progress House has to connect the residents to the community. They've brought in some classes and different things that we didn't have before that's real beneficial to the residents here.
The residents have opportunities to help and give back to the community. There's the helpline is actually a food bank located in Port Orchard.
I've been with our agency since 2001, and ever since I started, we have always partnered with Peninsula Work Release. They have been wonderful workers for us.
A group of us here from Faith Presbyterian were invited over to Progress House to sit down with Bishop Brown and others, with Foxy, his granddaughter. She is actively pursuing partnerships with churches, and we're only too glad to have a part in that.
So we go to the Progress House facilities here in Seattle, Tacoma, and Port Orchard, and we offer mathematics services. We help folks who are preparing to take employment tests.
Foxy has given us the option to pursue book clubs, work in the garden with the residents, and any other idea we may have. We're going to be doing some beautification, some work parties to paint the visitors room is one of the projects on tap right now.
I actually enjoy working with the adults. They are adults who are transitioning back into society, and I enjoy working with them. They're people just like you and me.
So one of our newest programs that Progress House is working on right now is called A Call for Change. And this program will dramatically reduce recidivism and help people that are suffering from mental illnesses to change their lives, and this time for good.
I actually was one of the second people to get accepted into the Carpenters Union. I did a pre-apprenticeship in prison, and so I've been working full-time, making $25 an hour. And without work release, I would have got out and had nothing.
I've been here for almost 3.5 years. The Progress House actually gave me a different chance to move forward in my life and do things differently and do right. And I basically started as a disassembly tech here, and now I actually am the manager of Springback and I run the place. And that's all possible to Progress House. So I just want to say thank you.
My experience here has been a positive reinforcement for my reentry into the community. I have gained positive, healthy values from the staff as a whole here.
The staff here is excellent. They care about us. I also volunteer on Fridays for the new women coming from prison, and the staff here has let me do it.
Over our 46 years and serving over 16,000 clients, we have a unique opportunity to understand what's really needed to invoke long-term change. So investing with Progress House is a sound investment.
I think the work that he's done over the years has had such a great impact in our community. So often, even nowadays, we talk about, who's really taking care of people when they get out of prison? Who's helping them transition back into community? And while we don't have as many services as we should, I am so glad to say that in Tacoma, we still have Progress House.
So how can you help us? You can go to www.progresshouse.us and click on donation and give a one-time donation. You can also sign up to become one of our long-term members by joining our bronze, silver, or gold membership program. This will help us to develop the Call for Change program and bring it to a community desperate for real long-term change.
It's so nice seeing my children just taking over, and everything that I ever thought, they've taken the ball and made it happen.
We would like to thank all of our staff and our employees. Without them, we can't carry out our profound mission. We also appreciate all of our community partners that join in and the volunteers that come, and the churches and all the different local programs and community partners that we have that drive our mission and make us successful. So thank you.
Residents, they would come in one way, and seeing the positive changes that they would make, people that hadn't held jobs at all started getting jobs and felt good. When you start seeing people that didn't say thank you start saying thank you and that type of thing, and women too, it was really a rewarding experience.
So Bishop Brown, what I want to say to you, I wish I could say it in every language possible. And I wish there were words higher than what I'm about to say, but truly from the bottom of my heart, on behalf of this city council and the 211,000 people who call Tacoma home, I just want to say thank you.